Hey everybody, welcome back to Cineflex. My name is Manny,
I'm Juan.
and we're still in quarantine, and we needed movies to watch. And yeah, we just decided. I was scrolling through Netflix the other day. This YouTube. Well, there is a YouTube channel, but this Instagram page I follow. I saw the image of this Jake Gyllenhaal movie. I thought it was a newer movie, or I didn't think it was as old as it is when I saw it. It was 2006. And yeah, it's pretty old. But the movie's called Enemy. It's on Netflix. I believe it's on Amazon Prime too. And when I came across it, I just read what it was about, which is this guy finds that an exact version of himself, or a person that looks exactly like him, he finds himself in a movie, and he goes out and tries to find this guy because he looks exactly like him. I mean, there's a lot more to it than that, but that's the basic premise. And yeah, when I finished watching this movie, my reaction was probably the same as yours. What the hell was all that about?
Yeah, I was trying throughout the entire movie. I was like trying to piece it together, and like it felt pointless. I don't know. Like I thought it was starting to kind of make sense, and then at the very end, it just throws you off completely.
Yeah, you think it's gonna be about one thing, or you think the movie's gonna give you all the answers, and then that fucking last shot comes in. And did you get scared of that last shot?
Not scared, but it was like it freaked me out a little. A little creepy.
Yeah, for those of you, well, are we gonna keep this spoiler free, or we're just gonna talk about it?
I think we could just talk about it because
that end scene of that big giant spider. Yeah, I did not see that coming. But did you look up anything after watching this movie?
No.
Yeah, I looked up some.
I thought about it, but then I was like, I'll just talk about what I thought. But we can look shit up now.
Yeah, well, I looked it up so that I kind of see where the director was going with, and it makes sense. But I mean, what's your take on it? Since you haven't looked anything up.
Well, I thought at first it seemed like it was just another guy, but then that it was another guy that he found that looks like him, whatever. But then I started like little things that the movie would show, or like they would say, made it seem like maybe it's him. He just has like two personalities disorder, whatever it's called. And like there was various things through the movie that kind of made it seem that way. But then there were things that people would say that made it seem like there is two of them. Because I figured everybody that's saying that, so for most of the movie, it's just him, like seeing himself or talking to himself.
Right.
But then they bring in other people like outside of him. And that's where I was like, it kind of confused me because I was like, oh, I thought it was that he's just kind of crazy or whatever, has a disorder. But then they make it kind of seem like it is, there is somebody else. So I don't know.
Yeah, when you're watching the movie, yeah, I felt that too. I was like, maybe it is just multiple personality disorder or something like that. Or maybe there is a double. I thought maybe it's just a twin. It could be that simple. But then when they meet each other in the hotel, and they both have the same scar or whatever. But then you see that scene with the mom,
and when she tells him,
yeah, gives him she starts to talk to him about him liking blueberries, and that he was a third-rate actor, which was I forget the names of the characters. I think it was Anthony and Daniel, right? No?
Anthony
and Adam?
I forgot.
Well, the main...
I think one of them was Anthony.
The main one was Anthony?
No, the actor one, I think.
The actor was Anthony.
I forgot the other guy's name.
But when we get to see his mom, and she starts talking to him...
Adam.
What happened?
It's Adam. What were you saying?
But it's Adam, okay. Yeah. And the mom starts talking to Adam, saying that he likes blueberries and he shouldn't be a third-rate actor. But those are all characteristics of Anthony, which kind of throws the audience off. I mean,
well,
right?
when she was talking to him, and that was one of the clues I got that it was him just having a second personality, was that she says to stop having that fantasy of being a second or third grade actor or whatever.
Correct.
So I figured he is a professor who's probably been in a couple like small roles, but he never took off, and his mom's telling him to like quit that.
Right.
Like,
that would. Yeah, you're right. From what I looked up, that's basically what it is. The true story in this is actually him. He's actually married to the pregnant lady, Helen, I believe, and that's real. But he has this infidelity about him where he's with multiple girls, and the mom says that he's like, it's hard enough you can keep down one relationship.
Yeah.
So he's married with his wife, but he keeps, I guess, cheating on her, and we get that hint when he's on the phone with somebody. She's like, "Oh, are you still seeing her?" And her can mean that other girl that we see that who plays Shoshana in Inglourious Basterds. We notice her in a couple of scenes that she's in. She's wearing the same dress. So he is married to her, and he actually does have that professor job. Maybe the wife didn't know about that that's actually his work. Which I'm trying to make this make sense. So he makes this well, remember in the beginning of the movie where we see these images of him in some like underground strip club, looks like it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so all that happens, and that's pretty much we get more information on that when he meets the guy in the elevator, and he tells him that he really wants to go back that night. But when so he starts to, so we don't know if that other girl, what's her name? The one that plays Rosanna? Forgot the character name.
Mary.
Okay, so that could be the someone that did exist, but it also like just represents his infidelity, and we see that when he talks about when he's in class how history tends to repeat himself, and then we see images of him sleeping with what's her name again? Mary.
Yeah. I thought I figured,
and then she goes home, and then they sleep together, and then she goes home, right?
I figured the beginning, in the very beginning when he's in class, and they repeat the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Here, like this, he repeats the same thing once. I was like, I figured that was gonna play into it, and it does play into it. Like the things that he's saying about like dictatorships or whatever, and things repeat themselves and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So when Anthony says, "Okay, I'm going to take your girlfriend out, and you're going to not see me again after that. I'm going to bring her back," and that'll be it. And then so he takes his girlfriend out, and then Adam stays with his wife. So he does kind of have this multiple personality disorder. And then at the end, the last segment of the movie, he like fabricates that confrontation with Mary to pretty much resolve that issue that's going in his head about being not faithful to his wife. So the whole crash, the whole death of him and Mary is pretty much symbolizing the ending of his constant cheating of his wife on his wife, and that's going to be the end of that. That he's already come to terms with being an adult and living in a relationship with his wife that's pregnant, and finally being a faithful husband. But so that's when he's crying, and they spend the night, and his wife is aware of that. I'm sure his wife is aware of that he's just like suffering from something in his head. but now he's come to terms with it. But when he sees that key, and the next morning, and then that symbolizes again his
Going
back to his ways of being with multiple women and cheating on his wife. So that when he goes back into the room and he tells his wife, "Oh, I'm going to go out tonight," and he sees the spider, which the spider can symbolize. I guess the spider in this movie symbolizes fear and then women, and commitment. So that's what he fears. So when the spider goes up against, because the spider isn't shows that it's like in submission, like it's afraid of him. So then he looks at the spider and then he gives a big sigh, because it's going to be again repeating the cycle that he's going to go back to his old ways. And then he says that quote in the movie that history tends to repeat himself, and it's the first time that Karl Marx added, the first time it was a tragedy, the next time it's a farce. So in the end, he's like, he gives that big sigh saying, you know what, it's going to repeat itself. I'm going to go back to this underground strip club and I'm going to go back to my old ways of cheating on his wife. So he doesn't really resolve himself, hence him being his own enemy.
Yeah.
So that's what the movie was playing on. I mean, it's not, the director didn't 100% confirm it, but that's what most of the general public that watch this believe.
What I thought, well, most of that, like, was things that I kind of thought, like, here and there. Mainly, like, what I said about how I figured it was just him having multiple personalities. And then I started seeing, it kind of made it seem like maybe it was at different, like, they were showing you things from different times.
Okay, yeah.
And I thought that it was going to be that originally he was with his wife, and he cheated on her with Mary, the Shoshana girl. And but then that ended because, you know, in that scene where they show that she leaves, and then they don't show her again for a while.
Oh yeah, she just goes.
I thought that they're like broken up or something, because at one point they show a picture of him and it's ripped. Like, he looks at the picture and the picture is cut, like ripped in half. Which we see that picture later on, complete in his house with his wife, and you see that the person that was in that picture was his wife.
Yeah.
But originally, when they first show it to you, I thought it was probably a picture of him and Mary, and they had broken up, because then you don't see her for a while. So then I figured, like I said, that's why I thought it was different times. But at first I figured, okay, so he probably cheated on his wife. No, he's probably with this girl, they broke up, and then maybe he got with that other lady, with his actual wife. And then when you see that picture, I was thinking like, oh, maybe that relationship ended. So he ended up with Mary, like he got back with her. And that's what would have been the present again.
Right.
So I figured maybe he was originally married, cheated on his wife with that girl. That ended the cheating relationship. And then his actual marriage ended, and he went back to that other chick.
So the question, if that crash actually happened, right?
And then I figured once again, like, because like I said, I thought it was different timelines. I figured maybe everything they're showing you with the wife are things that already had happened. And I figured the crash is the last thing that happens. So he actually does die or whatever. Like, I didn't think of it as like a symbolical thing.
I see what you mean, yeah. You're saying the whole time we see him with his wife is the past, and the present is Mary.
Yeah, basically.
But then we see that she doesn't notice the
ring, yeah. Which that was weird too. I was like, could it just be that maybe, like I said, because I thought that they had broken up some part in between. Maybe originally she didn't know he was married, but then some time passed by and that like ring mark, whatever, is now there because some time has passed, and she didn't know that he was married. But I didn't think too much into all this stuff.
Yeah, they did
I
do a
just
good
figured
job
it was different times.
to. I mean, there's not a lot of scenes where it's both of them and then somebody else.
Yeah.
When the wife goes to see or spy on him at the university, and then she calls her husband, he doesn't pick up until
He's
Jason
away,
gets
yeah.
out of the shot. So I mean, he could have answered his phone as he walked past or something like that. I don't know. I'm looking
He's walking away.
But yeah, I guess there's many ways to interpret the movie. But what I constantly saw online was people saying, "No, it was just the symbolism of his infidelity."
Yeah. That makes sense.
Definitely not what I thought the movie was going to be, but it was something that like stayed in my mind, especially when I was in bed and just thinking about it. So definitely a little odd, but in the movie, but different. I mean, I didn't dislike it. I don't know if it's definitely a movie that's gonna like. I think I'm gonna.
I feel like I like it more now. I feel like I like it more now that we're talking about it than I did while I was watching it. Because while I was watching it for a good amount of it, I was actually starting to get kind of bored. And but it was still okay enough, like intriguing enough, because I wanted to figure out what was going on. But I just thought it was alright. And then, like I said, once it was over, it just kind of threw me off, and it was like, oh, whatever thing. But now that we're like talking about it, and like you're seeing it in so, like all these different ways, it seems a lot better to me. A lot more interesting. And I like the idea that it was symbolism. But another thing that maybe could have been is that, like you said, Mary is a symbol of the way that he is, like him cheating or whatever. But maybe it could have been like yes, she is a symbol, but maybe all of those times you see her, in reality, it's a different person that he's cheating with.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see that. So every time she's sleeping with, it's maybe not Mary, but it's a different person. But they just use Mary as the
way and then maybe that way at the very end, when she sees it, then it would make more sense because she's a new girl. She's somebody else.
Yeah. Okay.
And she just saw that he's married, so she's all like, "Oh, what the hell?" Like.
Yeah, and I guess that would make more sense with him always sleeping with her, and then she just leaves always. I mean, if it could be somebody new. Yeah. I wonder if that underground prostitution. I mean, that underground room or whatever. You think that was real, or that whole strip club or whatever that is?
It probably was like some weird shit they were into. Because the other guy brings it up, and I feel like a lot of the things that the people he interacts with, the things they say are real. You get it? Like how his mom is talking to him, telling him these things. How his wife, the things that she tells him, which there were a couple of things that were a little confusing, but I think now that I see it as more of like, as him being, well, I saw it that way, but more so now, of him having those personalities, multiple personalities, and there being a symbolism behind a lot of things. I figured a lot of things that his wife say are, like you said, her realizing that he's like damaged, like that there's something wrong, and her trying to help him in a way.
Yeah, and one of the
kind of accepting that he has this other personality and kind of making him feel okay with it.
Yeah.
Because she starts saying like, oh, that point where they're laying down together, and she's all like, "Oh, how was school today?" Like, he's like, "What?" They're kind of making it seem like she realized that it's not him.
Yeah.
But she's trying to like make him feel okay with it, like.
Yeah, that's how
accept his real personality or something.
when she saw him at the school, she had this like real scared look in her face. And to me, and I was like, okay, if she really did see somebody else that looked exactly like her husband, like why would she? If this was actually somebody else, like I feel like someone would react maybe a little scared, but not look so haunting.
It'd be more like curious or.
Yeah, it would be more like this. Maybe they're exact long lost brothers. That's what I thought. There's long lost brothers. I mean, if I saw someone, I mean, yeah, it'd be scary, but she was just looking at him haunting, like
creepy, yeah.
Yeah, like, oh my god, he doesn't he's really somebody else right now in his head.
Yeah, it was like her realizing that.
Yeah.
That it was serious. That he was really somebody else technically, but in his own mind. And then another thing with the whole berries and stuff, when he goes to the actor him's house and he opens the fridge and sees all the berries, he kind of makes it seem like he doesn't like them.
Right.
Whereas the other one said he did like them.
Yeah. So he loves them.
So I don't know. But yeah, the main thing I thought a lot of those things, but the other thing I was thinking was the whole like it being in different times, just showing you things differently.
Yeah. And I
do like the other way.
I never thought about that either, about the different times thing, and I like that too. And you can have it both ways. You can have that and still like that whole spider thing and him saying how history repeats himself and all that, because that's the like I guess one of the biggest messages in this movie.
Yeah.
And then it's only, I mean, the clock's in only like, it's only like 90 minutes. So I think it was like a well-made, small, condensed movie with just like him giving the director just showing that one little message. Or, I mean, he gets his message across well in just like 90 minutes. I mean, I was like, oh, this movie's not as long as a lot of other movies. But then again, it was 2006. So I was like, oh my God, 2006. Jake Gyllenhaal looks exactly the same. It was like 14 years ago. Was it 2006 or 2016?
2013.
2013? What the hell did I see 2006? Jesus Christ.
I think in the movie they point out 2006 at one point, but I forgot what it was for.
Possible. Yeah. Huh. It's weird. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, I was enjoying watching it. It was like a little slow, a little creepy, got a little Joker vibes from it. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it more once I read more into it, and now I'm talking to you about it. So,
how would like if you were to choose little things for it to make sense for you, like the way you see it, like what would you choose to make it like your perspective, I guess?
What do you mean? Like, what would I pick out from the movie, or
like for example, me, like the way it makes sense to me, and the way that I would like to say that that's how I saw the movie is that it is two personalities. That I like the whole symbolism behind Mary, and it being that she represented like all the women that he cheated with, because that would make a lot of things that happen with her make sense. And another thing would be the whole the time thing, like it being in different times, like
right.
things happening in different times.
Well, I mean, to me, that all makes sense. It's just the way you're going to view it. Like if I go back into watching it and then now I have that mindset of it's two different timelines, yeah, I'll see it that way. But if I go back and just look at the mindset of, well, okay, let's look at all the way that he's just multiple personalities and all the symbolism, I can look at it that way. I mean, you can have it both ways, or just all depends which one you prefer. But yeah, I like them both. Yeah, it's definitely not like any other movie I've seen, I think. I mean, it's kind of a little bit like Fight Club, I guess. Have you seen Fight Club? Have you seen Fight Club, dude? You guys seen Fight Club? Well, hopefully I didn't give away a spoiler by saying that.
No, I already knew that it had to do with certain things.
Yeah.
But
It
I
has
never watched.
that Fight Club vibe to it. I guess
Mhm.
less. It's more straightforward in Fight Club. It's less about sending a message. Although some can argue about that. Sure, Fight Club has a big message too. Cool. Yeah, those were our thoughts on Enemy. If you've seen it, let us know what you thought about it below. Let us know what you thought about the last scene. Did it creep you out? Like my stomach just clenched when I saw that.
Yeah, it was a little. It was more creepy than like scary. It's just like a creepy looking thing.
Kind of like a jump scare,
Yeah.
but it was more like, yeah, it's haunting. Cool. All right, guys, let us know what you thought about it in the comments below. What is your take on it? If you have any other movies that are like this, definitely recommend them below. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe.